Hi, this is part of Math 2, Quadratic Standard on Solving Quadratics. This is page 512, number 3, part B. All right, so I'm just going to do the first one of these. I want to show you how to take an equation that looks like this. Notice it has an x squared term, and it has a bx term. There is no constant, or in other words, the constant is 0. And this whole equation is set equal to 0. This isn't just an expression, we're actually trying to find the values of x. We are basing this on what was going on in a previous problem up here where you explored the method for finding the two answers. So here we go. I'm going to go through the steps. The first one is turning this into a factored form. Right now it's in the expanded form. Nothing is happening on the left-hand side where the 0 is yet, but what I'm going to do is look at my two terms, which are x squared and 4x, and try to figure out what they've got in common. And since x squared is x times x, and 4x is 4 times x, both of those have a times x in them. So the x is what I'm going to factor out. And when I factor x out of x squared, what I'm left with is x, the other x. And when I factor x out of 4x, what I'm left with is the 4. If you're not sure about this step, pause here and try and figure that out. When I look at this half of the equation over here, I can see that there's multiplication in it, and there are two things that I can do to make this multiplication equal to 0. Please remember that anything times 0 is just 0. So one of the possibilities is that x equals 0. Just one x, there we go. One of the possibilities is x equals 0, because if I plug that in, let me move this off to the side. If I had 0 times x plus 4, or really, since x is 0, this is 0 plus 4, that equals 0, right? Because it's 0 times 4. So that's one of the two possible answers. The other one is a little bit more complex, and I just want to show that if x plus 4 equals 0, then the whole expression here will equal 0. Because if x plus 4 equals 0, then it's 0 times whatever is 0. 0 times anything is 0. So I've got to figure out what would make x plus 4 equal to 0. And if the answer doesn't jump right out at you, here's the steps that I would do. I would subtract 4 from both sides. And when I did that, I'd have just x on this side and just negative 4 on this side. So that's my other answer. If x equals negative 4, then the whole expression equals 0. Let me just double check that. Negative 4 times negative 4 plus 4. Yeah, that seems to work, because then I'd have negative 4 times 0, because negative 4 plus 4 equals 0, right? So this whole thing would equal 0. So that checks out. So those are the two answers. X equals negative 4 and x equals 0. So that's how you do the first one. The others are up to you.